There are words that open doors, words that act as golden keys, unlocking treasures long hidden in the invisible vaults of supply. Every spoken thought carries power, for the spoken word sets forth unseen forces that arrange themselves into visible form. Money, wealth, prosperity, all are vibrations already present in the great storehouse of abundance, waiting only for the right command, the right tone, the right word to draw them into your hands. When you speak, you do not merely form sounds. You set laws in motion. A decree is issued, and the universe obeys. If your words have been careless, you have perhaps called lack to your door. But when you speak with certainty, clothed in faith, you summon prosperity with the authority of one who knows. The instant you align your tongue with truth, money moves toward you as surely as water rushes to fill an empty cup. The substance of supply is quick to answer. It does not hesitate. It does not delay, except when doubt interrupts the command. Words of fear scatter the gold dust, words of assurance gather it. To say, "I never have enough," is to chain wealth away from your reach. To say, "Money flows to me freely and instantly," is to swing wide the gates of provision. You may have thought you needed effort, struggle, or chance, but in truth it is the word that does the work. Every phrase is like a seed. The careless seed grows weeds, but the chosen seed bears fruit of plenty. Speak the seed of wealth and it begins to root in the unseen. Even before the evidence shows, the law has moved, the soil has shifted. The harvest is certain. You cannot plant the seed of prosperity and reap poverty. You cannot declare increase and meet with decrease. The law is exact. So when you rise in the morning, let your lips shape the decree. Divine substance now takes form as money in my hands. I speak abundance, and it appears instantly. These are not idle phrases. They are commands written upon the ethers, instructions to the invisible forces of supply. Speak them not with strain, but with quiet certainty, as one who knows that the moment the order is given, the answer rushes forth. Money is not a stranger to you. It is an obedient servant waiting only for your voice. If it has seemed absent, it was because you unknowingly sent it away with words of lack. But now, with new speech, you recall it. You call it to your side, instantly, joyfully, without resistance. Speak and the law responds. Declare, and the money appears. For the universe holds no delay except the delay of the tongue that hesitates. Words are golden keys that unlock hidden supply. When you speak, you are not merely forming sounds, you are opening doors to unseen realms of abundance. Words carry vibration, and vibration is the language of the universe. Every phrase uttered with conviction sends ripples through the invisible substance, shaping circumstances and drawing experiences that mirror the tone of your decree. A careless word is like a key turned in the wrong lock, barring access to the treasure room, while a deliberate, faith-filled word slides smoothly into the gate of plenty, swinging it wide without resistance. From the beginning of creation, words have held the power of manifestation. The universe itself was called forth by spoken decree, and that same power rests within the individual. When you understand that every word you speak carries a creative charge, you begin to choose your language with reverence. Saying words of fear or limitation locks you out from supply, while words of truth and abundance release the hidden storehouses of wealth. The keys are already in your possession. It is only a matter of how you use them. Many people live unaware of the power they wield through speech. They complain of lack, saying there is never enough, and with each complaint, they twist the key that seals the vault. They declare poverty, and so the unseen substance obeys, arranging conditions that reflect their decree. Yet the same lips can utter words that reverse the law, unlocking the gates of plenty in an instant. To say, "I live in a universe of endless supply," is to insert the golden key into the lock, and to turn it with assurance is to watch the treasures flow forth. The supply of money, wealth, and prosperity has never been absent. It waits behind the doors of consciousness, waiting for the right command. You hold the key, and the key is the word. Speak, and the vibration carries through the ethers, summoning supply from unexpected channels. A check in the mail, a new opportunity, a gift, a sudden release of funds. All these are the forms through which the unseen substance takes shape. The cause is always the word, spoken with faith, unshaken by doubt. The power of words as golden keys lies not in empty repetition, but in the certainty with which they are spoken. A key must fit the lock precisely, and in the same way, the spoken decree must align with belief. To utter words of wealth while secretly harboring doubt is like pressing a key against the door without turning it. But to speak with assurance, with the feeling that the door already swings wide, is to see the vault of abundance open instantly. The law does not delay. It answers at once to the one who knows. Consider how often words have been used to bar supply without awareness. A sigh of, "I can't afford it," shuts the treasure chest. A statement of, "Money never stays with me," locks away increase. Yet the reversal is as simple as turning the key in the other direction. Say instead, "I always have enough. Money flows easily to me. I am rich in substance and in form," and the locks dissolve. The door of supply does not resist, it responds instantly to the rightful key. Every word spoken is like an order placed with the universe. Careless orders are fulfilled just as surely as deliberate ones. If you say, "I never prosper," you have ordered poverty. If you say, "Wealth belongs to me now," you have ordered prosperity. The universe is a faithful servant. It does not question the command but rushes to carry it out. The golden key is not selective. It opens wherever you direct it. What you decree with your words becomes your experience, for the doors of supply open only in the direction of your spoken command. Words are not mere sounds, they are creative forces, charged with unseen energy. Imagine each statement as a glowing key in your hand. One key opens the door to lack, another opens the door to plenty. Both doors exist, but the one that opens depends on the word you choose. This is the silent law at work. The universe always agrees with you. If you say, "There is never enough," the universe answers, "So be it." If you say, "I live in abundance now," the universe answers, "So be it." The power lies in your speech, for your speech is the key. To use words as golden keys, you must become conscious of your language. Let every phrase be a declaration of wealth. Let your speech be saturated with assurance of abundance. Refuse to speak lack, even in jest, for the law does not distinguish between serious and idle words. Every word is a key, and every key turns some lock. The more deliberately you speak, the more easily the doors of hidden supply swing open. Say it when you rise, say it as you walk, say it before you sleep. My words are golden keys. I unlock treasures by every decree. When words are chosen with precision and spoken with faith, the response is immediate. You may see money appear suddenly, or opportunities arise as if by chance, but there is no chance in the law. It is the golden key at work. The doors swing wide because you turned them with the right word, at the right time, in the right spirit. The vault of abundance is never empty, never locked beyond reach. It is always waiting for the one who knows how to speak the command. The word is the key, and the key is always in your hand. Spoken decrees set unseen laws into motion. Every word that leaves your lips is more than sound. It is a command that summons invisible forces to take form and shape in the visible world. The universe is like a great obedient servant, responding faithfully to the orders it receives. It does not question whether the decree was spoken in awareness or ignorance, whether it was intended as a jest or as a vow, whether it was filled with faith or with fear. The law only knows to obey. When a decree is spoken, the wheels of creation begin to turn, arranging circumstances, drawing people, opening doors, or closing them, according to the vibration carried by the word. The spoken word is never idle. It carries a living energy that continues moving long after the sound has faded. To decree, "I prosper now," is not merely to affirm an idea. It is to issue a law that prosperity must begin its work in the unseen, gathering substance, preparing channels, making ready its appearance. To decree, "I never have enough," is likewise to send forth a law, and that law will bring shortage, delay, and closed doors. Spoken decrees are like seeds thrown upon the field of time, each one destined to return after its kind. The decree of abundance brings abundance. The decree of lack brings lack. The law is exact and impartial, waiting only for the words spoken into it. Many walk through life without knowing they are lawmakers. They speak casually of poverty, sickness, difficulty, and with each careless decree, they write the script of their experience. They wonder why certain patterns repeat, why money slips away, why doors remain closed. And it is always because the decrees they have spoken set those very patterns into motion. The universe simply mirrors the law they gave it. Yet the power of decree is also the power of reversal. A new decree spoken with certainty overrides the old one. The moment a man or woman says, "I now call forth wealth, health, and joy," the old conditions begin to dissolve, and the new law takes command. The unseen laws that govern life are vast and precise. They respond not only to action but to vibration, and vibration is carried most swiftly through words. Every phrase carries its own resonance. Words of despair send out waves that draw more despair. Words of triumph release currents that draw success. This is why spoken decrees are not merely suggestions or wishes, but binding orders issued to the unseen substance. Just as a king's decree reshapes the order of a kingdom, so your decree reshapes the order of your life. To recognize this is to awaken to your authority. You are not at the mercy of conditions. Conditions are at the mercy of your decree. The moment you declare, "Money flows to me freely," invisible currents shift to fulfill it. Channels open where none seemed possible. A friend may bring a gift, a stranger may offer opportunity, a forgotten debt may return as payment. These are the visible outcomes of a law already set in motion by words. Speak the decree of freedom and chains begin to fall. Speak the decree of love, and harmony gathers to meet you. Speak the decree of failure, and unseen forces rearrange themselves to block the way. Always, it is the decree that decides. Every decree carries with it the power of faith or fear. When you decree in fear, you still create, but you create the very thing feared. To say, "I never succeed," is to establish a law of failure, and the law must be obeyed. To say, "I succeed in all I do," is to set success in motion, and success must find you. The unseen does not reason or debate. It answers to tone and certainty. Words clothed in authority go forth like arrows, piercing through obstacles, rearranging circumstances, bringing form to the decree. Words spoken weakly, without belief, may waver, but the moment certainty enters, the law is sealed. Spoken decrees are also cumulative. Every repetition strengthens the law. To declare once is to plant a seed. To declare often is to water and nourish it until the harvest is inevitable. Each time the decree is spoken, the unseen gathers more force, building momentum, until suddenly the decree manifests in visible form. It may appear as if the outcome came overnight, but in truth, the decree had been at work from the first moment it was spoken, weaving its way through the unseen. There is no neutral decree. Every word spoken either advances you toward abundance or pushes you toward lack. Even silence carries less power than the careless word, for silence at least refrains from setting destructive laws in motion. But when you speak, the law listens, the law obeys, and the law creates. This is why discipline of the tongue is the beginning of mastery. To control speech is to control law, and to control law is to control destiny. Decrees of gratitude are among the most powerful, for they declare abundance as already present. To say, "I am thankful for money now flowing to me," is to establish the law that money must flow. Gratitude is a decree of possession, and possession attracts more of the same. Complaints, on the other hand, are decrees of loss, and loss brings more loss. Every time a complaint is spoken, the law moves to confirm it. Every time thanksgiving is spoken, the law moves to multiply it. The decree does not depend upon visible evidence. To wait until money appears before declaring abundance is to mistake the order of law. The decree comes first, then the manifestation. A builder does not wait for the house to stand before drawing the plan comes first, and the house follows. So it is with decrees. The word is the plan, the unseen law is the builder, and the visible condition is the house. Speak the plan boldly, and the builder gets to work. Doubt delays, fear confuses, hesitation weakens, but the firm decree sets the law in motion immediately. Every spoken decree is a claim. To declare wealth is to claim wealth. To declare health is to claim health. To declare joy is to claim joy. The law does not withhold. It only awaits the command. What is claimed with authority must appear. The unseen is filled with unlimited supply, and it longs to take form. The decree gives it shape, channel, and direction. Without decree, it remains unformed, waiting. With decree, it moves swiftly into manifestation. Thus, every individual holds the power of creation in the tongue. Spoken decrees are not empty affirmations. They are the very laws by which life shapes itself. They are the cause, and visible conditions are the effect. To decree wisely is to live wisely. To decree rashly is to live bound by one's own careless words. The unseen does not judge, it only fulfills. And every decree, once spoken, sets its law into motion. Fear scatters wealth, faith-filled words gather it. Fear is the great disperser, the unseen force that sends abundance fleeing, scattering prosperity like leaves in the wind. When one speaks in fear, when lips shape words of worry and lack, wealth cannot remain. It is driven away by the vibration of dread, for fear and abundance do not dwell in the same house. Fear says, I may lose. And at once the channels of increase close. Fear says, there is never enough, and immediately the supply withdraws, hiding itself from the speaker who has locked the door with words of despair. Fear is a magnet, but it draws only the things dreaded. The more one fears loss, the faster loss arrives. The more one fears lack, the more lack multiplies. Faith-filled words, on the other hand, are gatherers. They call forth wealth from hidden places, summoning prosperity from the unseen with irresistible power. Faith speaks with authority. Faith says, money comes to me now, easily and freely, and money appears by ways unexpected. Faith says, I live in abundance, and abundance rushes forward, eager to clothe the speaker's decree with visible form. Faith is not mere hope, it is certainty. It is the quiet knowing that the word once spoken has already set its law in motion. While fear scatters wealth like chaff in the wind, faith-filled words are golden magnets, gathering prosperity from the four corners of the universe. The one who speaks in fear is always running after supply, always chasing money, as though it were distant and reluctant. The one who speaks in faith finds supply running after them, money seeking them out, opportunities opening like doors that cannot remain closed. Fear says, I must struggle. Faith says, I am divinely provided for. Fear says, I never succeed. Faith says, success is mine now. Each word goes forth to fulfill itself, for the law never questions the decree. The law simply obeys. Fear scatters because fear is rooted in doubt. It looks at appearances and trembles, believing the evidence of lack, believing the mirage of limitation. Faith gathers because it looks beyond appearances, seeing the invisible abundance that waits to be called forth. The fearful person clings to what little they have, and even that slips away, for their words of worry send it fleeing. The faithful person releases their words with confidence, and wealth comes gathering, drawn by the magnet of certainty. To speak faith-filled words is to gather treasure into your storehouse. To speak fearful words is to watch treasure scatter before your eyes. Every conversation becomes either a dispersal or a gathering. A sentence of worry releases wealth and drives it away. A sentence of assurance draws it closer. When one says, I cannot afford it, the law hears and the supply withdraws. When one says, all that I need is provided now, the law hears and the supply gathers. It is not effort or struggle that brings abundance, but the vibration of the words spoken with belief. Fear wastes energy, scattering seeds of poverty. Faith multiplies energy, planting seeds of prosperity that return in harvests beyond measure. Fear is always restless, always anxious, always speaking of what might go wrong. It is never still, for it cannot trust. This restless speech becomes a decree, scattering wealth like birds startled from a field. Faith is calm, serene, unwavering. Its words are steady, clothed with authority. They go forth like nets cast upon the waters, and they return filled with supply. The fearful one sees opportunities slip through their hands, for their very dread repels the good. The faithful one sees doors open before them, for their assurance draws opportunity as a magnet draws iron. The moment fear is spoken, its decree begins to act. A person may say in passing, "Money always runs out," and those words scatter the money that was on its way. Another may say, "I always prosper," and those words gather increase even while they rest. Fear is quick to send wealth scattering, and faith is quick to bring it back. This is why discipline of speech is essential. One must guard against fearful decrees, refusing to utter them even in jest, for every word shapes law, and every law shapes experience. Faith-filled words gather wealth because they align with truth. The truth is abundance. The truth is that the universe holds unlimited supply, waiting to take form. Fear denies this truth and drives it away. Faith affirms it and gathers it in. Faith is not loud or frantic, it is steady, quiet, unshakable. It knows that money is never absent, only awaiting the right command. Faith says, "I now speak increase," and increase comes, not because of chance, but because the law has no choice but to obey. Fear comes from looking at lack, from believing in separation, from forgetting that the unseen substance is infinite. Faith comes from remembering that supply is everywhere, that words are keys, that the decree of abundance cannot fail. Fear believes in shadows, and shadows scatter wealth. Faith believes in substance, and substance gathers wealth. Fear says, "What if I lose?" Faith says, "I cannot lose." Fear says, "What if I fail?" Faith says, "I always win." And as each word is spoken, so it is fulfilled. Fear scatters wealth not only in the physical sense, but also in the mental and emotional. Fear brings confusion, hesitation, paralysis, scattering energy so that nothing is completed. Faith brings clarity, confidence, decisiveness, gathering energy into powerful focus. The fearful person wastes effort, scattering themselves thin, and money slips away. The faithful person acts with assurance, gathering their powers, and money comes willingly. Fear is waste, faith is increase. Fear breaks the net, faith mends it and fills it with fish. To watch the difference is to see two laws at work. One speaks fear and watches bills multiply, opportunities vanish, doors close. The other speaks faith and watches debts dissolve, opportunities arise, doors swing open. Both are under law. Both are receiving the harvest of their words. It is not luck or misfortune, not chance or fate, but the simple action of fear scattering and faith gathering. The one who learns to speak faith-filled words has mastered the law of prosperity. Fear scatters wealth because fear is contraction, and contraction pushes abundance away. Faith gathers wealth because faith is expansion, and expansion draws abundance in. Fear tightens the hand, closing the fist, and nothing can be received. Faith opens the hand, relaxed and generous, and everything flows in. Fear says, "I must hold on," and even what is held slips away. Faith says, "I release and receive," and new supply flows in to replace the old. Fear scatters with suspicion, grasping, and doubt. Faith gathers with openness, trust, and assurance. Fear scatters wealth through repetition. Each time one says, "I can't," the decree grows stronger. Each time one says, "It's too hard," the law gathers more evidence to prove it so. Faith gathers wealth through repetition as well. Each time one says, "Money flows freely to me," the current grows stronger. Each time one says, "I live in abundance," the river of supply grows wider. Both fear and faith increase with use, but only one gathers wealth. Fear is a shadow, faith is the substance. Fear is illusion, faith is truth. Fear scatters because it aligns with illusion, with emptiness, with nothingness. Faith gathers because it aligns with truth, with fullness, with everything. The choice between scattering and gathering is always made in the words spoken. To speak fear is to scatter. To speak faith is to gather. And every word goes forth to fulfill itself, never returning void, but always accomplishing the law it was sent to perform. Prosperity responds instantly to the right command. The moment the right words are spoken with authority, the unseen substance of supply begins to move. It does not delay. It does not wait until some distant season. It does not require years of toil and effort to shift its course. Prosperity is like a servant standing ready, listening for the voice of the master. The instant the master gives the order, the servant moves without hesitation. So it is with the law of abundance. It waits for the decree, for the words spoken in certainty, and once it is given, the law leaps into action, arranging the visible world to match the spoken command. The right command is not a plea or a wish. It is not spoken in doubt or desperation. The right command carries the vibration of authority, the tone of one who knows the law is theirs to use. A weak word, filled with uncertainty, falls to the ground unheard. A strong word filled with faith is like a trumpet call that rallies the forces of supply from every direction. Prosperity does not respond to hesitation but to certainty. It answers instantly to the word that is spoken as law. Many imagine that prosperity requires time, struggle, or chance. They wait for opportunities to come. They chase money as if it were a wandering shadow. They labor endlessly believing effort alone produces increase. Yet the secret lies in command. One decree spoken in faith gathers more prosperity than years of toil spoken in fear. The law is not moved by struggle. It is moved by word. Speak the right command and supply begins to appear in channels unforeseen. A gift arrives, a door opens, a way clears. Not because of chance but because the decree has gone forth. The right command must be specific and clear. To say vaguely, "I want more," leaves the law without direction. To say, "I now receive abundant wealth, freely and joyfully," gives the law precise instruction. Prosperity responds to clarity. The more defined the decree, the swifter the response. Just as a soldier obeys exact orders without question, so the law of prosperity obeys the spoken command. Ambiguity delays but precision releases instant response. The right command must also be consistent. A decree spoken once in faith but cancelled the next moment by doubt creates confusion. To say, "Money flows to me now," and later say, "I never have enough," is to give opposite commands to the same servant. The law does not choose between them, it fulfills both, producing a mixed and unstable harvest. But when the command is steady, spoken with unwavering faith, prosperity aligns at once and continues to flow without interruption. Consistency keeps the channel open, while contradiction blocks and delays it. Prosperity responds instantly because it already exists. There is no need to create it, only to call it forth. The unseen substance of supply surrounds you always, waiting to take shape. The command gives it form, directs its flow, determines its channel. Without command it remains unshaped, like water without a vessel. With command it pours into form instantly. The delay is never in the law. The delay is in the one who hesitates to speak with certainty. The right command must be spoken aloud. Thoughts carry power, but the spoken word carries authority. Thought is like a whisper, but speech is a decree. To say, "I am now prosperous," with conviction, sends a vibration through the unseen that cannot be ignored. It is not volume that matters but certainty. Even a quiet word, spoken in faith, carries the force of command. The universe does not resist the voice of one who knows their authority, it answers at once. Prosperity does not distinguish between large and small commands. To say, "I now receive a small sum of money," or to say, "I now receive great wealth," are equal before the law. The universe does not measure size, it measures vibration. The right command carries the same certainty, whether it calls for a coin or for a fortune. The instant the word is spoken, the law begins to gather the supply in accordance with the decree. To understand this is to release struggle. Many chase money as though it were reluctant, as though prosperity must be persuaded. Yet prosperity is eager to respond, eager to flow, eager to take form. It awaits only the word. The right command is the opening of the gate, and once the gate is opened, the river rushes in. Effort without command is like pushing against a locked door. Command unlocks it, and the supply enters freely. Prosperity responds instantly because time is no barrier to the law. The decree may appear to travel through process, but the response begins the moment the word is spoken. Circumstances shift, unseen currents rearrange, people are drawn into place, opportunities arise, all beginning at once with the command. What seems like time passing is merely the law unfolding the decree in the visible. The cause is immediate, the effect inevitable. The instant the word is spoken, prosperity has already begun to move. The right command must be free of fear. To speak, "I will not be poor," is not the same as saying, "I am wealthy now." The first command is rooted in fear and keeps poverty in sight. The second is rooted in faith and calls forth wealth. The law responds to the vibration, not the wording alone. Fearful commands scatter wealth. Faithful commands gather it. The right command is always positive, present, and certain. It does not beg, it does not deny, it affirms. Prosperity responds instantly because it is natural. Abundance is the law of life. The earth produces without strain, the rivers flow without effort, the stars shine without pause. Only man resists by speaking against his own good. When the resistance is lifted by a right command, prosperity flows as naturally as breath. It is not forced, it is not delayed, it is not withheld. It is simply released by the word. The right command turns every appearance of lack into an opening for supply. When bills pile high, to decree, "These are already paid in full by divine supply," is to set prosperity in motion instantly. When opportunities seem absent, to decree, "Doors of increase open for me now," is to summon those very doors. The outer condition may look unchanged for a moment, but the decree has already set the unseen into motion, and the shift begins at once. Prosperity is never absent, it only awaits instruction. It responds instantly to the right command, as faithfully as an echo answers a voice. The decree is given, and the law repeats it in form. The one who knows this no longer fears lack, for they understand that the word is their key. With every command of abundance, prosperity gathers. With every word of faith, supply appears. The law cannot delay, for it is bound to obey. It answers instantly to the command that is spoken with authority. Money is an obedient servant awaiting your voice. It is not a master to be feared, chased, or worshipped. It is not a tyrant holding men in bondage, nor is it an enemy that slips away without reason. Money is a servant, created to answer commands, waiting silently for instruction. It has no will of its own, no power apart from the word given to it. The tone of your speech, the nature of your decree, the certainty of your command. These are what direct money to move toward you or away from you. When one recognizes this truth, fear of money dissolves, and mastery begins. Money has always been present, circulating, flowing from one hand to another, seeking direction. It is never still, it is always in motion, responding to the vibration of thought and word. The one who speaks in lack unknowingly commands money to leave. The one who speaks in confidence summons it closer. Every careless complaint sends it scattering. Every faithful decree calls it to serve. Like a trained servant, money does not argue, question, or delay. It simply follows the voice of command. To treat money as a master is to fall into bondage. To chase it, to fear its absence. To bow before it as though it held power over your life, is to forget its true nature. Money has no authority of its own. It obeys the one who knows their authority. Just as a servant waits for the master's order, money waits for yours. It does not come because of struggle or desperation, it comes because it has been spoken for. When the command is given with faith, money moves instantly, arranging itself in channels both seen and unseen. This is why many work tirelessly and still lack, while others speak with assurance and always prosper. The difference is not in effort but in authority. The fearful worker chases money, as though it were a reluctant master. The faithful speaker commands it as a servant, and it comes. One runs after it endlessly, and it slips further away. The other calls it forth, and it arrives without resistance. The law of obedience is the same in both cases, but the roles have been reversed. When you recognize money as servant, you step into your rightful place as master of supply. Money responds best to clear, firm, and faithful instructions. To say, "I never have enough," is an instruction, and money obeys by staying scarce. To say, "Money serves me freely and abundantly now," is an instruction, and money obeys by flowing in. The universe does not distinguish between careless and deliberate words. Both are decrees, both are orders given to the servant. That is why speech must be guarded carefully. Every word sends the servant forth, either to scatter or to gather. The obedient servant is tireless. It does not sleep, it does not pause, it does not resist. Once commanded, it moves at once. If told to depart, it departs. If told to increase, it increases. It does not decide whether the command was wise or foolish, it only obeys. This is the nature of law. This is why mastery of money is mastery of words. The one who controls their speech controls their servant. The one who speaks in confusion finds money serving confusion. The one who speaks in order finds money serving order. Money is obedient because it is part of the infinite substance of supply, and substance always takes the shape of the word given to it. Just as clay yields to the hand of the potter, money yields to the command of speech. The form it takes depends entirely on the decree. To shape poverty with words is to see money serve poverty. To shape prosperity with words is to see money serve prosperity. The substance cannot resist. It only molds itself to the pattern spoken. The servant nature of money becomes clear when one observes how it shifts so easily from hand to hand, from place to place, always under the direction of belief and decree. One person commands it to depart by declaring loss, and it departs. Another calls it forth by declaring abundance, and it appears. It has no loyalty except to the law of words. It follows the voice it hears most consistently, the voice clothed in the authority of faith. If that voice speaks lack, it serves lack. If that voice speaks plenty, it serves plenty. The relationship between master and servant is not one of force but of certainty. A servant does not need to be begged, a servant only needs to be told. Money does not need to be pursued, it only needs to be directed. Begging is the speech of one who has forgotten their authority. Command is the speech of one who knows. When the decree is given with quiet confidence, the servant obeys instantly. Money flows toward the voice that speaks as master, not toward the voice that pleads as slave. To recognize money as servant is to change the way one speaks about it. No longer saying, "I wish I could," but saying, "I now receive." No longer saying, "I cannot afford it," but saying, "Money serves me to afford all that I desire." No longer saying, "Money always leaves me," but saying, "Money obeys my command and remains in my service." Each statement is an instruction, each decree an order, and the servant cannot disobey. This servant is also unlimited. It does not run short, it does not tire, it does not exhaust itself. The more it is commanded in faith, the more it multiplies. The channels through which it flows may vary. Work, gifts, opportunities, sudden windfalls, but the servant is always the same. It is not bound to one path, for it has countless ways to appear. The master does not worry about which path it will take, the master only issues the command. The servant finds the way. Money awaits the voice of command. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. The instant the decree is spoken, the servant stirs to life. It begins moving through unseen avenues, arranging itself to serve. Delay only comes when the voice is silent or uncertain. But the faithful word is never ignored. The servant hears and obeys, gathering supply, opening channels, preparing increase. The truth that money is an obedient servant removes fear. There is no need to chase or hoard what already waits for instruction. There is no need to bow before circumstances or tremble at bills. The servant does not command the master commands the servant. The moment this truth is accepted, the entire relationship changes. Money ceases to be a source of anxiety and becomes a faithful worker, always ready, always responsive, always obedient to the voice that knows its authority.